8 signs you are begging for love without realizing it. Have you ever found yourself reminding someone to love you, to notice you, to give you attention, to choose you, while they barely lift a finger in return? Have you ever cried in silence, holding on to someone who made you feel like a burden instead of a blessing? If so, you may already know the painful reality of begging for love without even realizing it. It doesn't always look like begging. You may call it effort, loyalty, or sacrifice. But when love becomes one-sided, when you are the only one carrying the weight, it stops being love and turns into survival. And survival is not what your heart was created for. Real love is never begged for. It is given freely, naturally, and joyfully. Anything less is not love. It is tolerance, pity, or manipulation dressed as affection. So many people remain stuck in relationships where they are not cherished, not valued, and not genuinely wanted. They confuse tolerance, pity, or occasional attention with true affection. But love should never feel like you are chasing crumbs. Let's dig deep into this together. What it really means to beg for love, the hidden ways you may be doing it without realizing, and why you deserve so much more. Before we talk about the signs, it's important to understand the difference between real love and the illusion of love. Sometimes what you're holding on to is not love at all, but something else in disguise. 1. Tolerance. When someone is only enduring your presence instead of genuinely desiring to be with you, that's not love. They're simply waiting until something or someone better comes along. You may think they care, but in reality, they're just settling. 2. Pity. Sometimes a person stays because they feel sorry for you. They don't want to hurt you, so they stick around. But pity can never sustain a relationship. Pity doesn't fill your heart with joy. It only prolongs your pain. 3. Passive aggression. Have you ever felt guilty for simply asking for attention or affection? Some people offer crumbs of love while making you feel like a burden for wanting more. That's not love, that's emotional manipulation. When you accept tolerance, pity, or manipulation, you cheat yourself out of experiencing real, deep, and unconditional love. One of the saddest realities of relationships is that many people don't even realize when they are begging for love. They mistake effort for love, persistence for devotion, and sacrifice for connection. Here are 8 signs you're begging for love without realizing it. 1. You always have to remind them to spend time with you. Love doesn't need reminders. If you constantly have to beg for their presence, you are not a priority. You are an option. 2. You feel like you are forcing conversations they don't care about. When you speak, they're distracted. When you share, they don't listen. If talking feels like pulling teeth, then the connection is already one-sided. 3. You excuse their neglect by saying, they're just busy. Yes, people get busy, but no one is too busy for someone they truly value. If excuses are the only thing keeping you from admitting the truth, you're lying to yourself. 4. You do more than 90% of the giving. Love should be mutual. If you are the one always giving, always reaching out, always sacrificing while they give little to nothing in return, you are carrying the relationship alone. 5. You cry often because of their indifference. If your tears have become a routine in your relationship, that's not love. Love may bring challenges, but it should not be the constant source of your pain. 6. You fear losing them more than you value your own happiness. When your entire identity becomes tied to keeping someone who doesn't truly care, you are begging at the cost of your peace. 7. You lower your standards just to keep them. You once swore you would never accept certain behaviors. Yet here you are, tolerating them, all in the name of not losing the relationship. That is self-betrayal. 8. You feel you have to earn their love. If you are constantly proving your worth, doing more, giving more, sacrificing more, just to be noticed, then their love is not free. Real love does not need convincing. If you recognize yourself in these signs, pause. Take a deep breath. Understand that what you are holding on to is not love. It is survival. And you deserve so much more than survival. Begging for love does more damage than you may realize. It eats away at your self-worth, convincing you that you are not enough. But the truth is, you are enough. You simply gave your heart to someone who cannot value it. Here's why you must never beg for love. 1. It devalues you. Love is a gift, not something to be negotiated or forced. If you must beg for it, it was never real in the first place. 2. It creates unhealthy dependence. You end up clinging to someone who isn't truly invested, hoping one day they will change. But most times, they don't. And even if they do, you will always remember that their love had to be begged into existence. 3. It steals your joy. Instead of feeling safe and uplifted, you live in constant anxiety, wondering if they will leave, wondering if you are enough, wondering what more you can do. Love doesn't require begging. It flows naturally. It shows itself in actions, not just words. Here are the true signs of real love. 1. Consistency. They show up every day, not only when it's convenient. 2. Effort. They meet you halfway. Love is teamwork, not a one-person struggle. 3. Respect. They honor your feelings, your needs, and your boundaries. 4. Joy. Love feels safe. It brings comfort, not constant fear. 5. Sacrifice. Real love gives freely, not reluctantly. Finally, if you see yourself in these signs, don't beat yourself up. Many people have been there. What matters now is recognizing the truth and choosing differently. You don't need to beg for what should be given freely. Real love will never make you question your worth. Real love will never require you to sacrifice your happiness for scraps of affection. Real love will feel like home, safe, warm, and unforced. You deserve that kind of love. Don't settle for less. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more.